Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another video. I really do appreciate it. I know it's been about a month since I posted, and I was trying to post a little more regularly, but this time I think I have a pretty good excuse. Um, let's see, if you're new here, I recently moved my whole family from South Florida to Central Arkansas, and while it's been a fantastic change, it's been a huge change, but definitely in a positive way. And being that I'm out here and I got a little time off, I've been exploring all my new waters, I've been catching new species, learning how to fish my new waters. It's definitely a big change from South Florida. And I got a new boat, kayak kind of thing, and I'll show you that in a future video. But that's opened up a lot of fishing opportunities for me. I've got a river real close to the house that I have access to, and I've been doing a lot of wading in the river. Again, an experience I never could have in South Florida. So definitely very, very cool. And with all this learning curve, what it is, trying to catch the new species and fish the different areas, because it's a lot different than fishing in Florida. Uh, Bringing the camera gear along can sometimes be just an extra, I don't know, hassle for lack of a better word, that I just don't need. I'm trying to work a trolling motor, or I'm trying to, not slip on a river rock because I'm not used to walking on those. So, not recording has kind of been a choice recently, and I apologize. I will start bringing. I got a little setup for my backpack for when I'm wading the river, so I can start bringing some cameras with me and try to bring you guys some cool fishing content. But I got to tell you, I love it here so far. This has been a great change, and hopefully the videos will start coming more frequently, and if not more frequently, hopefully at least better content. All right, that's enough of that. That's not really why you're here, right? Buzzbaits, you saw it in the title. I got this mold about a month and change ago, maybe, and I've already been playing with it. I'm having a great time with it. I've posted a few pictures on my Instagram, and maybe I can line that up, something like that. You can see my Instagram down there. Go follow me over there. It's a pretty easy thing to build, a buzz bait, but what I really like about it is the ability to be creative with it. You can really do a whole lot to these things to really make them your own. There's really no right or wrong way to assemble them. It's just kind of however you want it done, and it really opens up a lot of creativity, or a lot of room for creativity, I should say. You can also make them pretty basic too. But they're pretty simple. You don't need a whole lot to do them. The basic jig making stuff plus a few extra components. And, well, let me show you exactly what it is you're going to need. First off, you're going to need the mold. And you can see what's on screen right now. I'm using the 3/8 and 1/2 ounce model, but they do have two models for it. This is the Buzz Keel Lure Mold BZK-2-3812, in case you're going to shop for this yourself. Now, you'll notice you see a little bit of soot in there. Generally, I don't smoke my molds, but I found it really does help for, well, really anything with that little lead bait keeper at the bottom. But this mold in particular, it really has been a huge help smoking this mold out. So aside from the mold, the first thing you're going to need is the appropriate wire form. In this case, I'm using the .50 buzzbait wire form from Do It Mold. It's a thick, gauge wire. It's still flexible enough to do what it needs to do, but I don't think it's going to bend and contort too bad. It's a pretty good quality wire. Next, you'll need a hook. And in my case, I'm using the Mustad hooks 32608. They come in a nickel finish, a black nickel finish, and a red, which is what I've chosen to use today. Now, here's one of those creative things that you can do, differently on your buzz bait. But something I like to use on mine are these little beads. This is a 5/32. It seems to fit pretty well with the .50 wire form, and it's just a hollow nickel bead. I like it. I think it, just makes the buzzbait what I want it to be. And like I said, the bead is kind of optional. You can use one bead, two bead, you do your thing. A little bit less optional, though, is going to be the blades. Now, you can look on Do It Molds, Barlow's Tackle, heck, even eBay and Amazon. You're going to find just a plethora of different blades. They got some with holes in them, different style bends on them. Now, today, we're going to use this one. It's like I'm not sure how well the camera picks it up, but it's like a black chrome. And it really, I just think it really looks cool. So that's what we're going to use today. And then one of the last things you're going to need, if I can pick it up, they're little parts. They're kind of tough sometimes, but is this little rivet here. And that's basically going to help with that squeak and keep the whole build together. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Let's make a few. All right, so like I said, I normally don't smoke all of my molds, but in this case, especially anything with that little lead hook keeper, lead plastic keeper, is really going to benefit from a good smoking. So what I like to do is I just stick my candle on this little spare piece of cardboard I got laying around, light it, and then I can get the mold real close to it and get all up in that cavity. Now, in this case today, we're only going to make the 3/8 ounce buzzbait, so I'm only going to focus on that cavity. But you want to get it nice and black, covered in soot, and that's really what you're doing is you're basically creating a barrier in between the lead of the mold and the liquid lead itself that you're pouring in, and it really helps that lead pour nice and smooth, and you really do get a much better quality pour when smoking the mold. Again, not necessary for every mold you're going to use, but especially if you've got a little lead bait keeper built in there, definitely recommend smoking your molds. Okay, now that the mold is nice and smoked, let me go over a couple of the tools you're going to need. The little clippers to cut the sprue off, you need these with basically every mold you make. But in this case, I like having these around too. A pair of needle nose pliers, you'll see me use these a lot for demolding a lot of the jigs. But in this case, I like to keep these linesman pliers around because they got a nice flat jaw. And they're going to really help you with the next part I'm about to show you, which is prepping your wire form and your hook to go into the mold. Pretty basic. It's got this little hook built into it right there. And all I like to do, and I'm going to try to do this on camera here, is I take the flat jaws of the linesman's pliers. And again, I'm sorry if I'm not catching this completely in view. I'm trying my best to work over the camera here. Just give it a nice tight squeeze. And that will just keep the hook, in place. It's not going to fall off anyway, because that's where the lead part is going to go. But it just kind of gives it a nice, hold, and it fits better inside the mold. Okay. Best way I found to load this mold is you kind of go from the top of the mold down, because that hook point will fall off the end. And what you want is real close to it falling off, but not quite. And it'll give you a good solid, you see how that wire kind of fits there. Ooh, this thing is hot. Between smoking it and sitting on top of the lead pot. That is nice and hot. Get it basically where you want it and close her up. And as you can see, it looked a little awkward when I did it, but I got a nice tight close on the mold. So you're going to have a little play in the hook. Don't worry about that. That's because it's really not bit into anything yet. But alright, we should be good to go. Let's pour this bad boy. Give it a little test. And give it a pour. Alright, so shake it up a little bit. Let the lead flow. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Let's see. Yep. I'd say that's a pretty perfect mold. Maybe a little bit of flashing on that keeper. We can get rid of that pretty easy. Not too bad. Let's make a couple more. Alright, now just like, ooh, got stuck by my own hook there. But yeah, just like any other time, you're going to want to clean off the sprue. These angled cutters really make a short work of that, Clean, they kind of break off there. There we go. And then those little extra pieces of lead, we'll just put those back in the lead pot in a little bit. And then I like to take a file and just, they don't always even need it, but sometimes they just get a little bit of a rough edge, and I like to clean that off. I'll also tap that little plastic keeper there where I got that little bit of
extra lead on it. We'll clean that off real good. And I'm just going to do that to the 3 of these real quick. So that little bit of flashing is really the only issue I had there. Otherwise, I think we're looking pretty decent. All right, very cool. Let's paint them.
I'm trying to set this up so you can see more of what I'm doing, not so much of me. I think on this particular buzzbait, my plan for this is I'm going to do a two-tone color on this. We're going to go black on the top and some ruby red slipper on the bottom. So I'm just going to open up both my paint colors and give them a little stir. We're not going to be dipping this, so it's not as important, but I still like to keep them kind of fluffy. This is where you make a good use of your junk mail, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up this jig head over my heat gun, and then I'm going to hang it up over here, and I'm going to use one of these cheap little paint brushes, just kind of dab the color right onto this thing. Now when I do these, I generally like to do the bottom color first, and then the top color, if I have any overlap, it'll just kind of almost blend in real nice, so let's give this a shot. There we go. That's pretty much, don't worry about it if you don't get it all up on the keeper. Who cares? That's going to be covered in plastic, right? I just want the head of it nice and coated. There we go. Then a quick zap over the heat just to kind of keep the paint in place. And I'll take a look at it, make sure I didn't miss any spots. I would actually like a little bit more down there. There we go. And I'm sure there are other ways to do this. This is just my way, so it works pretty well for me. Another quick zap of heat. Alright. Now I'm going to just clean all the excess off of there. I like to dump the excess paint. That's the whole point of the junk mail. Back into the pot. And now let's see what the black does. I might need to put it back over the heat. No, I think we're okay, actually. I think I definitely got the black on a little too thick, but I don't think the fish are going to care. Give it a quick zap over the heat. Yeah. Maybe a little bit up underneath here. There we go. That's going to be good enough for now. While that cools off, I'm going to go make my skirt.
All right, now there's a bunch of different ways you can make the skirts for these. This is my preferred method, at least for the buzz baits. I tend to not wire tie or even thread tie a buzz bait because a lot of people like to take the skirts off a buzz bait and just fish it with like a frog or something on it. So what I use is, this is a very cheap little tool. I forget where I even got it. It's very inexpensive. This metal part goes right there, and it's basically the whole point of that. Again, I'm trying to do this looking over a camera, but the whole point of it is to get that little skirt band onto the tube. At that point, you can move that out of the way. You're pretty much done with it. This little hook comes in through the back, and then you take your skirting material. For these buzz baits, I like to use one full tap of each color, and I'm just going to hook it on there. There we go, and then you just use that hook to pull it through the tube, and you kind of gauge whether you want it to be even or not. Sometimes I like one end longer than the other, so I don't generally throw a trailer on my buzz baits, so sometimes having one end longer than the other looks nice. In this case, we'll kind of sort of even it up, and then you just take that band, slide it right off onto your skirt, and you're pretty much good to go. You pull that back through, and for right now, that's going to be our skirt. So once we get this buzz bait assembled, we'll come back, and we'll put that skirt on. All right, now when it comes to assembling these buzz baits, again, this is where you kind of let your creativity shine. For me, I just prefer to keep them simple. Again, I'm trying real hard to do this looking over the top of the camera here, but I slide my bead on first. Here we go. And that slides loosely, but it's not like gonna fall off. There's no slop in it, but it does. I think it fits pretty perfect. This part might be tough to do on camera. All these blades have kind of a channel you got to follow to get them on there right. There we go, and I got it on there now. There you go. Now sometimes they won't spin so freely, and all you do is you take a pair of pliers and you bend this little piece or this little piece right here until you get it where you want it. Last but not least is going to be your rivet. You just slide that on. You want the flat side to face your blade point. And then you're going to have all this extra sitting off over here. What I like to do, I'll actually take these here, and I'm going to clip it off a little bit. That's got too much extra meat on it. There we go. How'd I do? Yeah, it's pretty good. And I'll take the end here and just basically want to bend it straight down, because while this is pretty tough wire, it bends pretty easy. There we go. So I got a bend on that. I still got enough room, enough play in here. But now I'm going to come in here and bite that rivet and clamp it down real good. So that way the rivet don't move. The blade spins freely. I like that. I think that's going to work just fine. And you're in good shape. That's well, shoot, that's really all there is to it. Now all we got to do is add the skirt, which I have right here. And it looks like I don't have it exactly even, but that's okay. It's a buzz bait, right? All you're going to want to do, put that hook right through that band, and then slide it up onto your jig. I mean, we're coming along nicely. Let's grab a pair of scissors. I wonder if you guys can hear those geese flying about me in the background. They usually don't come by until later on this afternoon. I think they know I'm recording, so they give me a little flyby. Well, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't drop something. And we're back. Let's see, give all the skirt a little bit of trim. And I find doing them individually like that keeps me from making them too level, because I don't really want them level. I kind of want them, kind of off kilter, kind of wonky here and there. Because once it gets wet, it's all going to lay down like that. But that's not so bad. Black and red head, black and red skirt, red hook, just for a little extra effect. But there it is, guys. That is pretty much the finished product. And like I said, you could wire tie or thread tie these skirts on, and if it's a skirt that you want to, you don't think you're ever going to take it off, by all means, go for it. Sometimes I do like to fish my buzz baits without a skirt, so I just stick with the rubber band on these. But there we go. Clean it up just a little bit. I think that'll catch some fish.
All right, guys, well, that's it. I mean, there she is, the finished product. I really dig the way this one came out. I'm pretty happy that I left some of these strands a little longer. They're going past the hook, much like the trailer would do anyway. So I don't think I'm going to use a trailer on this. If I wanted to, I could. You can see just how well exposed that keeper is. It'll be real easy to run a trailer on this. Definitely run a trailer hook on it, I think. But the way I got that little bit extra length towards the bottom and that poofiness towards the top, I'm really happy with the way this one came out, and I'm really looking forward to fishing it. I think the color scheme looks great. It really looks good with that black chrome blade, the red hook. Yeah, I'm just pretty happy overall with the way this one came out. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm not an expert at this, so I'm sure I missed something. If I did and you have a question, please leave it down in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you. But thank you very much for watching these videos, because like I said, I'm not an expert. I've learned a lot of this stuff through trial and error, through watching YouTube videos, and I'm just basically passing on what I've learned with you guys. So hopefully I'm helping somebody out, and if nothing else, at least maybe you're entertained, right? I am very much so looking forward to throwing this thing. I can't quit playing with it right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and end this one. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.